Hey there, Kat here, CEO and founder of Advertise and hashtag Social Buzz. So today I want to talk about yes, I already introduced myself, so let me make sure I am live as always. But if you saw the notes, today I want to talk about ways that you can grow your business. And if you're not currently doing this because you think, oh, sorry, just see my hair. If you're currently thinking, oh, I'm going to ride this out, it's going to go back to normal. Uh, I'm sorry to tell you that that might not be the case. So, for those of you who want to take advantage of this opportunity and grow your business now, I want to help you. And I want to help you by talking about ways that, and let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, drop me a line. If there's somebody that can benefit from this conversation today, please tag them and let them know to check this out. Again, I'm here to help you stand out and grow. We are in an uncertain time. I love saying that. Every time I say it, I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm in a movie, But we are in an uncertain time. And, this is the time and I love it because Megan, my guest 2 days ago, or a day ago, I can't even remember, the days are running into me. But Megan had mentioned, like, this is the time to evolve. And she loves that word, where some people are saying the word pivot. Some people are saying the word transition. Some people are saying the word reinvent yourself. So it doesn't matter what word you're saying. What I want to talk about is, let's talk about some ways that we can still progress and grow our business and, continue to have the business that we have and pay our employees and feel good about it and not have stress and worry and sleepless nights and what have you, because, I'm feeling the pain. I probably don't show it, but I'm feeling the pain. And I know a lot of other businesses are feeling the pain and can really, really use the support. So let's talk about ways to grow your business that's really going to help you as we continue to evolve, because, here in Milwaukee, our lockdown has been extended for 30 more days. And then we have the protesters who are going out and increasing this pandemic, which is like frightening. I just don't understand that. But I have no control over people going out in public. It just petrifies me. And okay. So let's talk about some ways you can grow your business. And the one I talked about, or that I mentioned and alluded to in the notes, is by hosting webinars. So if you're not currently hosting webinars, people who were doing this prior to the pandemic are actually ahead of the game. They're actually doing a great job, and they are already doing these webinars and these Zoom meetings and whatever else you want to call them. So they're very, very beneficial, and they actually help businesses grow. And do them properly, there's a lot that can come out of it, because here's the reality is, and I'm all about, when you're doing webinars or when you're doing educational type of programs, I'm all about offering a little bit for free, like offer something for free, give people enough advice or education or something that gives them enough to grab on and to really want to grasp it. And so, if you give them enough, then you're luring them in to use your products or services. And that's the whole point of it. So if you're not using webinars correctly, I'm just going to give you some helpful hints on how do you use them and how do you implement them and how do you launch them? Because, it's not just, hey, I'm going to come up with a webinar and I'm going to put it out there and everybody's going to sign up. No, that's not how it's going to happen. Okay. You still have to market it. You still have to let people know And you have to prepare for it because, again, the most important thing about a webinar, okay, and again, I'm on the side that you're offering a free webinar. So I'm just assuming you're going to offer a free webinar. And let's just be hypothetical because I'll give an example of a webinar that I offer. I offer a free webinar on how to use or how to manage your social media. So that's my webinar. It's free. I give the ins and outs. I tell people how to do it. I walk them through the practices. I tell them how, I give them all the nits and nannies. I give them enough information that when they leave that webinar, they have enough ammo that they can do it themselves. So that's one example. And so we're just going to go on this theme of my free webinar because you're going to have to put yourself in this place because, again, the topic has to be enticing enough. You can't just have some kind of webinar or a free webinar and it have you're going to talk about something nobody is interested in. Nobody's going to show up. Why would they? So it has to be a webinar topic that you're solving a problem that is hot for people right now. Okay. And so that has to be your topic. And that's how you have to conduct your webinar. I mean, if you're in a business, let's be hypothetical. Let's say you're in the business of IT and security is a major concern for a lot of businesses, especially those with remote employees and those that are that have very compromising information that they're using and accessing at their home or their employee's home. And so, let's say that you are that IT person. Let's say your webinar is, hey, I'm going to give you some ways on how to prevent your company from getting hacked and this information that you have for your client from getting compromised, And so that's your webinar and, you conduct it and you have a couple slides and you're going to tell people, the things they can do. Webinars, and here's the thing, here's the whole success behind webinars when you're doing education to try to get leads and sales is you have to make sure that the information you're delivering is stuff they can use. If you're doing a webinar to sales pitch, it's just not going to work. I'm just here to tell you, I'm going to be very candid. People don't want to be sold in webinars. It's kind of like the old, if you think about this, it is like the old timeshare syndrome. And if anybody has ever been to like a resort and has been hit up by timeshare people, they're like, hey, if you listen to this pitch, we're going to give you 2 nights free, or going to give you this free or this free. And I went on vacation with a girlfriend of mine, Dawn. Hey, Dawn, if you're watching. Dawn and I went to Mexico and she was like, let's go listen to this pitch and we're going to have a day of spa and a free car rental. And that's what we got out of it. And so anyways, when I was sitting there listening to their pitch, and I tell you what, I was just zoned out. I was like, oh, really? I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be pitched to. So I was forced to sit there and listen to this freaking pitch so I can get my free 2-night stay and my free car rental. And so again, I'm just putting you in the perspective of people when you're doing your webinar. Do not do a sales pitch. Nobody wants a sales pitch. No. Do you want a sales pitch? Think about it. Do you want someone pitching you? I don't think so. So the topic is extremely important. Find a topic that's going to be relevant and that solves a problem now, today, for your future customers, okay? And again, I use my examples. I do a free webinar on how to manage your social media so that, it's effective and you get some traction. I also do a free webinar. I'm kind of pitching myself, but I'm telling you that these are the webinars I do. I do a free webinar on how to do your own live video. So those are the webinars that I host and manage and do. I also do a webinar on closing, how to close, 5 closing styles. So there's a bunch of them that I can do that are very relevant for people and that people want. And again, you just have to listen to your clients because, someone asked me one time is, how do you know the topic to choose? What's the most frequently asked question in your arena? That's your topic. There you go. It's that easy, you know? So it's not difficult. You got to really dumb it down and make it really, really easy and don't overthink it. I think the problem with some businesses is they overthink it. Don't overthink it. Come up with a topic that you can give a free webinar so you give people enough meat that they can do it on their own. Okay. And some people, here's the reality. Some people are going to take it and run with it. Some people are going to say, you know what? That's too much work. I don't want to do it. How much does it cost to hire you, Kat? And that's what happens. And so, especially if your webinar is compelling enough and you're giving enough information that they're like, wow, that's good information. That is awesome. And now you're setting yourself up to be a thought leader, to be an expert in your field. Okay. That's the whole purpose of the webinar that you're trying to put together. Okay. So here's the other thing to know about webinars is you don't want a bunch of them. You want them to be very, very special because you're not going to get a lot of people sign up if you have them all the time. Who cares? Someone's going to see that. They're going to look at your calendar and they're going to say, I'm not signing up. She has that every day. Do you know what I'm saying? So make them extra special. So if you're doing them once a month, if you're doing them once a quarter, that's the secret to a webinar. And then let's say if you do them once a month, you change the topic out. Maybe you have 3 topics that you rotate, okay? Because if someone likes the first webinar, you've got to pitch the next webinar in that webinar at the end so that they attend, okay? So make sure that you're not doing these all the time. That doesn't help your audience and it doesn't help people to sign up, okay? And then the other thing is when you're doing the webinar, it has to be very engaging. It has to be exciting because if you're going to take someone 30 minutes of their time and you're just going to read off slides, why don't you just send the slides to them? Do you see what I'm saying? So the webinar, because it's remote, because it's a different way of doing business, you have to really interplay and come up with your own questions that are also asked when you're doing this webinar and really give the feel and tone of, I'm talking to you, I'm addressing you, and I'm asking the question that I know you're going to ask. So I'm going to answer that for you. But I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to give you as much information as I can so that when you leave this webinar, you have enough ammo that you can do this on your own. Okay, so the meat of the webinar really needs to be engaging, and just know that when you're building it, and don't put all the dialogue in your webinar slides. Your webinar could be just like this, like me here talking to you. And then every so often you pop up a slide. So think about how you're going to conduct the webinar, okay? And you don't have to be in a traditional sense where you're just showing a bunch of slides in a slideshow and there's no person, it's just slides, okay? So think about that, okay? So you got the topic, you got the meat of the webinar, you know what you're gonna do, maybe you practice it a time or two. Now you gotta promote it, right? So now it's about promoting your webinar or your free, class, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to call it webinar. I'm just calling it because that's a common term. But you're going to have to promote this now. So how do you promote it? Well, social media, I'm going to tell you first and foremost, you better be using social media. And you better be telling your marketplace. So whether it's your personal walls, whether it's your business walls, you need to tell the people in your marketplace. So start posting it, start sharing it, start talking about it, okay? And tell people that, if you have a limited number of seats in your webinar, some people do. So like Zoom, I think the different plans, you can have different amount of people. Then make it very clear. Make it very clear so people know that it's the first 25 people. or it's the first 10. If you are an intimate person and you only want a small group and you say 5 at a time, then let people know only 5 seats available, so people can feel that coziness that you're going to have. Okay. So the webinar, understand and know how you're going to promote it, and understand the dynamics of how many people can attend, okay? That way, that's part of your dialogue, and you don't make people upset when they say, hey, I tried to sign up, but I couldn't. So understand that and promote it that way. So you're going to use, again, social media to promote it. You're going to create events. If you know what I'm talking about, you're going to create like a Facebook event. LinkedIn has an event. Eventbrite you can use. So any of the free calendars used to promote your webinar, okay? And your topic should be very enticing. So when you do promote it, make sure that the topic lures someone in, okay? It's got to be a really good, catchy headline. So for me, how to grow your business with social media, isn't that cool? Who wouldn't want to join my webinar? Hello. So you got to promote it. So here's the thing that I don't want you to think. Don't think that, hey, I created this webinar, I got the content, I'm ready to go. I put it out there and the crowds are going to be coming. No, that's not going to happen. You've got to promote it, and you got to heavily promote it. So every week, let's say that your webinar is 4 weeks out. Every week, promote it. If you're talking to people, if you're messaging people on LinkedIn, say, hey, check out my webinar. Make sure you attend. Make sure you're reminding people to attend. That's your job. You've got to do it. And if you don't want to do that, then do a paid ad to get people to attend your free webinar and let that hit the masses. So you've got to promote it, know that, and make sure that you're doing that. Okay. Okay. If anybody has questions, drop me a line. I'm not seeing any questions. I normally see questions, and oh, wait, maybe I do. 30 more days. That's nice. Hey, Joseph did a shout out. Thank you, Joseph, for the question. I love it. Nobody else is asking questions, but you did. You're like 30 more days. What? Yes. In Wisconsin, we are locked down for 30 more days. Exciting. I don't know. It could change too. So by the end of the 30 days, if people are still being crazy and going out and talking to other people and not doing this whole social distancing thing, it might be slap on another 30 days. But regardless, we're going to move on, and we're going to try and grow our business. So today we are talking about webinars to grow your business. If you have a question, drop me a line. This is something I have done. I have clients that have done them and have been very successful. And we just went through the topic. We went through what is the meat of your webinar, and then we went through promotion. So now I want to talk about how are you going to distribute this webinar. So there are a lot of programs, and so I got a list of them for you because I know everybody's hearing about the whole hype about Zoom this, Zoom that, and it's not secure and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you're putting your Zoom link out publicly, yeah, it's not going to be secure. Don't do that. Don't do that. And if you do that, have a pin attached to that so that only the people with the pin can get in. And those people need to tap on you to get that pin. So whether by email, sign up, registration, whatever. So do not have a Zoom account and just put your link out there. That is crazy. Don't do it. Otherwise, you're going to have these crazy people come in your webinar and take over and do stupid crap. Okay. So Zoom is an option. I use Zoom. I actually love Zoom. I have used Zoom for a long time, and it's great. There are other ones. Livestorm is another one. I don't know anything about Livestorm, just so that you know, but it was suggested to me. GoToWebinar, I'm used to. I've been on it. I know in the corporate world, I have used it. So GoToWebinar is another option that you can check out. Easy Webinar is another one. I have not used that. So again, it's Easy Webinar. Check it out. I mean, and if anybody uses any of these or has any other suggestions, drop me a line so I can let other people know, because everybody wants to know, people. This is not just for me, and this is a participative live cast. Just me here, but it's participative. I like you guys giving me feedback, and I like calling your name out. So if you have information or feedback, certainly drop a line, because I do want to share the information that you give me. Okay, so let me see what else I have here. Easy Webinar was another one. Click Meeting. I don't know if anybody has heard of Click Meeting, but that's one. And then Zoho Meeting. I actually use Zoho email, so I didn't know that they had a meeting version. So that's pretty cool. And I think that they do have a free version. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of these programs that have a free version. So just check them out, And again, you want to use the one that's the user-friendly for you. Don't use one that's complicated. Use it that is friendly for you. And don't use one because it's popular. It's got to suit your personality, and it's got to be really, really friendly for you. Okay, Webinar Jam is another one, and I think those are the only ones that I could find that I went through. I was going to say another one, but no. Okay, so you're going to find the platform, and you're going to choose that platform, and you're going to set it up, and you're going to practice. Okay, so here's the really, really important part of doing webinars. You got to practice. So you got to do a mock webinar. Get a couple friends to sign in and do it. When I say mock, like truly take it through the test drive, and somebody actually participated, signed up, they got the link, they got the information. You're positioned, you're here, you're ready to start your webinar, and they're coming in and logging in, and do a mock trial with people. Do not set up a webinar and you've never tested and tried it, and don't do that. Please don't do that. You've got to test it first, please, because you are going to have hiccups. And I much rather because a lot of these can be recorded. I know mine are recorded. And so a lot of these are recorded so that you can see the mistakes you made and correct them and rectify them. So do not do this without a practice run, please, with actual people. And you record it so that you can see yourself and you can make all the corrections, okay? But the other thing you don't want to do is don't over practice. Please don't do that. It's not going to be perfect. It's not. And people like imperfection. In fact, I had a conversation the other day with a client, Patty from Be Green Pro. Hey, Patty, hope you're doing good. But I had a conversation with her, and we were talking about people making mistakes, because here's the reality. People are going to make mistakes. That's the beautiful thing about people. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, and that's okay. It makes us human. It makes us totally and utterly human. So you're not going to be perfect, and you are going to make mistakes. Just know that. And it's okay. It's okay. I give you permission. Okay. So you've practiced it and you've picked a platform. So then, some other little things that you can do with the webinar is at the end of the webinar, you can interject a poll or questionnaire. You can send them to your website and say, hey, sign up for the advanced version, which is a paid version, So that's when you trigger and get people to pay for the next level, so you generate revenue that way. Or you send them to a website page where it says, hey, sign up for a free one-on-one consult. Let's see if you need more help, if this is something beyond you fixing and doing the minor changes for, So those are things that can trigger after the webinar, that once you're said and done, that you can leave up as a link, a post, whatever. So again, what I'm trying to talk to you about and tell you is these are lead generated ideas for your webinar. And the other thing too, when you use programs like Eventbrite for people to sign up, especially if they're free. I know Eventbrite charges if they're paid, and if you're okay with those terms, that's great. If you're not, then there's other programs The reason I like Eventbrite is it's heavily traffic. It has its own organic traffic. I have no affiliation with Eventbrite or anything like that. So if Eventbrite wants to pay me to solicit their services, please reach out to me, Eventbrite. But the reason I love Eventbrite is if you have a free account with them, then you're capturing all these emails, and then you can trigger a auto reply. And you can also download all these emails that now, again, this is your lead list, and they can get information on other webinars that you have, or you can personally reach out to them and create a one-on-one consult, especially those that didn't attend, How cool is that? So again, these are lead generated ideas from your webinar, okay? So so once the webinar is done, because people logged in, they had registered, you can follow up now with all the attendees. If you had a second webinar or a different topic, you can email market all of them and say, hey, check this out, sign up if you want to see this. Basically, now you have an audience that was highly interested in your topic or your service or your goods. So this is the lead generated type of webinar that I'm talking about. And if you do this correctly, you can really grow your business because you're growing your email marketing list, you're engaging with people, and you're educating them with free content. Because again, that's the whole purpose of it, is having free content, having free information to engage with them. And what you're going to learn and what you're going to So what you're going to learn and what you're going to understand and see is right now, because of this pandemic, people are just vying for information. They want to learn. They want to improve their business. They want your goods, products, or services. So, depending on who your marketplace is, webinars are awesome. You just have to put them together and do them. And the longer you wait, the longer that you overthink it, the more you're hurting yourself. So my suggestion is create the webinars, do the webinars, and again, you do a trial run. You're going to trip and fall when you practice and when you first do this. But once you got it down, it is a home run, right? So I have a question I want to answer. Irma, thank you, Irma Bates. So she asked a question. She said, please let me know where to go to watch your webinar. Oh, absolutely. I'll put a link after I'm done, and I'll let you know about my webinars. So happy to share because I really, really believe that this is the time people need to maximize social media. And if you're not maximizing social media, reach out to me, because I'm going to tell you how, and I'm going to show you how. But you really need to maximize this opportunity now where social media is at an all-time high. In fact, I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. Every time I do my live streamings and I connect to my social media, I get an alert saying, you might get kicked off because there's a high volume of people on social media. And so regardless, every day it says that every time I log in and every time I try to go live. So if it's telling me that, to me, I'm sorry, that's telling me as a business owner, hello, you should be on social media. You should be capitalizing this time. And as a business owner, if you're not capitalizing this time, reach out to me. Yeah, I can help you. I will help you capitalize your exposure on social media. That's why we have, that's why we have hashtag social buzz. I'm trying to point to my logos here. Oh, I hate this. Right there. There you go. And that's why we have advertise. Here to help anybody stand out and grow. I'm going to wrap this up because I do have an interview with another person. So excited to be on her show. And so I told her I would be done with this. And so if you have any questions, if you appreciate this information, is there somebody that can benefit from this information? Drop their name in the comment fields, please. If you have any more questions, certainly reach out to me. I am totally approachable, people. I am. And I'm happy to help out anybody that I can. Certainly link into me on any of the social medias. I like making connections with people. I like answering people's questions. Anything that I can do to help you grow. Hey, that is awesome. Um, and just think of, don't overthink this. Don't overthink webinars. You can do them. They will help your business grow. And you just have to get down to the nuts and bolts. And if you want the outline of what I just talked about, reach out to me. I'm happy to send you the outline. I can certainly post it as a blog as well. But it does work. And if you just follow the steps, you'll have a successful webinar. Again, the biggest part of it, the big part of it is creating the content that is enticing enough that you're going to lure people in and they're going to appreciate the information. Because again, you don't want a bunch of people on your webinar like the timeshare and they're just like, get me off of this. I'm ready to run, right? So you got this. And before I end, of course, stay home, stay safe, stay positive, drink lots of water, smile anytime you can. Try to keep your spirits up. I know it's really, really hard. I know it can be frustrating and I know it can be difficult, but try to keep yourself going. Lean on people if you need to. Reach out to people if you need to. And just stay positive. But drink lots of water and stay healthy and do what you can to exercise, get around, walk around the room, walk around outside, whatever. I know I bought a hula hoop because I'm going to conquer the hula hoop. So that's my goal. And if I do, I'll put it on one of my lives so you guys can see it. Yay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. And I hope you have a rocking day. And until next time, you got this. Talk to you soon.